At the end of the last trailer for Monster Hunter World Iceborne, we got a look at a beaten up Rathian and a teaser for none other than Glavenus. Now this is part 2 of their skirmish which happened in Monster Hunter Generations. This is the ecology video where you see the initial clash between the Rathian and Glavenus. And this is a monster that has a tail that is practically a giant greatsword. You can scrape it against its teeth or the ground to make it really hot and easy to sever other parts. It's a very cool hunt. I'm going to show you it in just a second, but check out this little video. It's not that long. And just because there's going to be those who say, well, they didn't actually confirm it's Glavenus, we don't know for sure. Yeah, we know for sure. That is definitely Glavenus. Now, one thing I want to note here is that while we do have 4 flagship monsters, 4 generations, the flagship that stands above all the rest and has been used as the official one has been Glavenus. And this is why you see it featured in the 15th anniversary special art, which has all the flagship monsters and not the other 3 as well. Not fair, but that's how it worked out. Okay, so like I did with the Barioth video, I'm just going to show you what the monster can do. This is not about me hunting it, it's about you seeing all the different stuff it can do, so you can start to imagine some gameplay of how it might be in Iceborne, and also so you actually have a place to jump off so you can see how much they changed it, or how much they remained faithful to its original design. Glavenus, of course, is mainly defined by that awesome tail. It could scrape it against the ground or against its teeth to make it red hot. And while it's not that easy to do, you can actually break off its tail, but you can only break it when it's red hot, which makes sense obviously because it's hot metal. And if you notice, it just gulps some flames. So right now it has a sort of inflamed mouth and it has a hot tail, which means both of those pieces, if you hit them enough times, it will cause the monster to flinch and take the heat out of the body. It'll sort of go through these phases where it has heat in its throat, then it doesn't, a hot tail, but then it doesn't. So this sort of tells you, watch out because it'll do more damage if you get hit from that spot. But it also gives you an idea of where the weak spot is in case you want to get aggressive with it, which I highly recommend because this is a monster, if you stand kind of mid-distance from it, it can really catch you off guard because it'll just start swinging its tail, spewing these fire breaths, and it's pretty agile despite its size. So when it's not enraged, it does a single tail slam, but when it gets enraged, which I'll do in a second here, you'll see that it does a double tail slam, and I know exactly where it's going to go, so it's not really a danger for me, but that took a lot of practice to figure it out, because if you don't know, you can get in trouble. So here, me putting in a trap, I'm going to flinch the face, which will cause it to drop a shiny, and it'll take the fire out of its throat. I love how in this game you always get fire orbs. It's like the gem. It's supposed to be rare, but the game just gives them out like crazy. I don't know why. It's not that nice with the G rank material though, unfortunately. So now it's enraged, you see its body is now really red. It's going to start doing these double tail slams. So this is really fun if you're in a group of 4 people because you're not all standing in the same spot. So that usually means that somebody is going to get their butt whooped by this monster, and it's kind of funny to see someone go down. So right now it doesn't have an inflamed tail, so it's not as powerful. But if this thing is upset and it's got a red hot tail, you better watch out because it will do a lot of damage, and it gets some new attacks as well. So there we go, we get some fireballs. Do love the effect on that thing. If you notice, the tail swipe is much faster now. Great monster for lancing, of course, if you are a lance user. All the new monsters for Iceborne just seem really good for lance. Here's the triple fireball, which it does, which is very fun. And it does this sort of like double snap at you when it's enraged, and that thing can be really dangerous, especially if you're a lance user and you try to guard counter that first hit. You'll get hit on the second. It's just really hard to deal with. The fun part of this monster is its aggression, and I'm really curious to see in Iceborne how you can deal with it. Because at least in these older games we have this flat terrain, so we don't have to really worry about, you know, navigating the environment so much. But in Iceborne, obviously we'll have a lot more environmental things, which we can use to our advantage, but they also make it much harder to deal with monsters. But we'll have to see. Sometimes it does that wind up attack, which is so cool. It'll bite its tail and then it flips around. And usually this is the time in the hunt where people who don't have their armor upgraded and they're not out of the way, they all die. I can't tell you how many times in Monster Hunter Generations we were in a room, he bites his tail and it's like, okay, quest failed, coming up, and boom. Several people cart because they don't know how to deal with it. Now in this game they did have adept style, which is a way that you can counter attack. But we don't have that in Iceborne, so it's going to be really interesting to see how people can deal with that attack. Anyways, I hope this clip here just sort of gives you an idea of the general movements, what you can expect from the monster. It's a super cool one. I do like Mizutsune a lot, but you know what? I feel good even if only Glavenus comes from Generations. I'm happy to see someone representing sort of that title in the overall main series. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your thoughts about Glavenus coming to Iceborne is. Until next time, happy hunting.